The new seals are in for the CT175. This is the dimensions of the new seal. The 30 is millimeters, and that's the inside measurement here. And that is actually inside of these flanges that stick out, kind of create that seal. Then 40.5 is the outside diameter of the seal, and then 10.5 millimeters is the thickness of the seal. I'm doing a couple of things before I tear the old ones out. First thing I'm doing is I just set this new seal down inside of there to make sure that that was going to create a tight fit. There is a little bit of slack in there, but I think that's part of the design. These kind of seals are a little bit new to me, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what they're made of. And it seems to me that there is a small, probably a steel band that goes around the inside of that because it's slightly magnetic. If you remember, there's a flat washer that goes around here, and then there is a split ring clip that holds everything down in there. That keeps that seal from coming up and out. So the next step, as far as I can tell, is just to remove this old one. I expect a little bit of difficulty because these are probably original, and there's probably some dirt and corrosion on the inside of that surface of the fork where the rubber meets the metal. So I'm going to start pulling those out, but I'm confident that these seals are going to work. The other thing I did with the new seals is I took the inner tube and I placed this on that to make sure that that fit tight as well. So this is the correct seal as far as I can tell. I'm just going to pull these out and put the new ones in and start putting this back together. So I've been kind of going after this seal off camera a little bit, and I thought it was going to be easier, but I've had to really start mangling this to get it out. So only if you're committed do you want to go to this extreme. The one thing I am making sure that I'm not doing is junking up this surface, this inner surface of the fork itself. So the first thing I did was take a utility knife and just cut through some of the rubber so that I could see where this metal band is that goes around inside of that seal. Originally I was trying to use this screwdriver and just gingerly pry it out, but I think there's probably enough dirt and stuff in there that it wasn't going to slide out of there. So once I exposed that metal band and kind of got an idea what was after, I took a screwdriver and I drove it down in there so that I could just twist it and break that thin metal band. Again, the one thing I wanted to make sure that I was doing is this is the outer rubber on that seal, and I wanted to make sure that I was between that and that metal band on the old seal, because I don't want to mar up that surface. So I'm just about done with that. I think now all I need to do is finish cutting this rubber, and then I can probably just get a pair of pliers and force that out the rest of the way. So I finally managed to get the old seal out of the fork, and I did a little bit of collateral damage around the side there, and I was being really super careful, trying not to do anything. I'm hoping that that's not going to be an issue once I put the new seal in. I guess we'll see. Here's the old seal, and I wasn't expecting this to be the design. I thought that this would all be encased in rubber, but it's got this metal band, and that's part of the inner seal. It's encased in rubber in here and forms that lip. and you can see that there's some rust in there. That's why I was having such a hard time getting this old seal out of that fork. Basically ended up using my big screwdriver after I tried the little ones and being real delicate. I used this one to get in there, and essentially I just used it like a chisel and just kind of worked down through that metal, trying to pry it away from the wall and break it as I went, and ultimately I got it to where that outer band was cracked and then the seal came right out. So I've still got one more of these to do, and I'm hoping that the other one is not any more difficult than this. So I just finished putting together the second fork, and one thing I will say is removing the seal on the second one was a lot smoother than on the first one. And if you see this, you could probably guess why. This had kind of bound the first one up in there, and I really had to work hard to get that one out. The second one came out much smoother. I still mangled it trying to get it out, but I didn't do nearly as much damage to the inside surface of that fork. So these are done. They're put back together to the point that I'm going to take them. They do need oil. It calls for 10W30 or fork oil, and it takes 120 cc's or 4.1 ounces. So the only thing left is to put those on the bike and add the oil and add these last few components. Put the cap on there, snug it up, and it's ready to go. So that's probably the last time you'll see these forks until they're on the bike.